It's been a year now that I've been on Facebook Live once a week. So today's our anniversary. We have talked about this before, but because of COVID and everything that has changed in the past 18, 19 months, I want to encourage you to start booking ahead because everyone is starting to do it because they can't wait to perform. And so let's start planning for the new year. We have 2 months, 2 or 3 months to actually start planning for these things. So I'm going to share my screen with you right here for a second. So again, this is pitch and perform. This is 10 tips. These are basic tips right now. So we're going to go through some basic tips. Maybe you can work on some of this stuff. When we come back next week, we'll actually dive in and start pulling it up. These are the basic tips that will get you booked, right? Number one, your music. You have to have some kind of current music up online so people can listen. And so not only your fans can listen, but also the bookers and stuff like that. If you are putting out new music, you have to have a pre-link for people to listen to. You can't just put it on Spotify as a pre-save. You really have to make sure that you have some place that they can download and they can actually hear it themselves. Number two is a website. I know I've talked about this before. Again, if it's too much for you to put your own website together, then you want to go get a Bandcamp or Reverb Nation because they have to find you. So remember, go to that GoDaddy or domainname.com and make sure that you get a name that people can spell and remember. So it's going to be very important. Number three here is a live video, okay? That's going to be very important. It is your calling card. Get your band together, get yourself together, solo, duo, whatever it is. Find a rehearsal hall. Some of the rehearsal halls actually have a little stage and some lights and stuff like that. And get a couple iPhones and just perform a couple tunes and then pick the best parts. It's got to sound and look good, but it doesn't actually have to be in front of anybody. You just have to perform. People want to see what you look like when you perform live. So that's going to be very important. You have 15 to 60 seconds to catch somebody's attention to see if they like you or not. Probably less than more, but if they like it, they may look at it for a minute. So it's going to be very, very important for you to look at that stuff. Number four is you should be rehearsing a 60-minute set of music because with 60 minutes, with 1 hour, you actually will be able to make money. And weeks to come, we will show you how to do some of that stuff, which events will pay you, and you'll have a what I call a pre-assembled audience in front of you, an audience that you don't have to draw themselves. They're just there to see music. So we're going to look in and pull apart some of that stuff. So that's going to be very important. Number five here, I know I'm moving pretty fast, but these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 10 research skills. I've said this over and over. You really want to look at the venues that are around you, whatever kind of venues you're running after, and you want to really explore that venue. Know everything about that venue. Do they have more than one stage? Do they have acoustics certain days? Do they have louder bands another day? What time does it look like their main person goes on the main stage? Yeah, those kind of things. And then look at their calendar. You can look at 30 venues and pick 10. And just concentrate on those 10. You want to make sure it's the kind of music and genre that you're going after. So there's no reason to run after a rock venue if you're not rock. You need to do a little bit of research to do that kind of stuff. Number 6 is that 15-second elevator pitch. When someone says to you, what does your music sound like? Don't give me just rock. Your rock may be different than my rock. Your rock may be Metallica and my rock may be Van Halen. That's a totally different kind of rock. And so you get to do the comparison. Remember, go back to your influences and do band comparisons. I'm not saying for you to say I'm the next best Beatles or whatever, the next best Bruno Mars or whatever it is. What you need to do is do a comparison and you get to choose it. So you want to be able to explain that to, especially the bookers, what kind of music that people say you sound like or you sound like. And so you want to do that band or musician comparison with a twist. Here we go, flying through these. But I knew when we got to number 7, we'd have to put some time in. Number 7 is know your timelines. Depending on the kind of venue it is, there are different kinds of timelines for them. How far in advance do they book, right? Clubs, 1 to 2 months ahead of time. Usually 1.5 months is what we're looking at. So if it's November, we're talking about you booking pretty in February because people are starting to book more and more and more. So at the end of the year here, we can start really booking into the new year. City events. 3 to 4 months ahead of time. You are not too late if you want to do an Earth Day in April to play at your city. So you want to make sure that you're doing that ahead of time. And hey, it's okay if you contact them and you're too early, because then they'll tell you exactly when they're going to take submissions for that stuff. Colleges. Colleges are back, which means that people are on campus, which means they're doing more and more events. Some of them are virtual, but now a lot of them are actually in person again. And we'll go over again a day on how to book the colleges. If you can play for an hour, you can make money in a college. So that's going to be very important. And they book in the fall for the spring, and they book at the late spring into summer for the fall. So that's when you want to concentrate on your booking times, basically. Festivals, they book 6 months to a year in advance. If you want to play this summer, it is not too early for you to get your act together and maybe submit your material and possibly get booked, because a lot of them will start booking probably in January or February, if they haven't started booking already, because a lot of them didn't do it last year. So what all of these special places want is they want current musicians, current music. If you haven't planned to put new music out next year, it's time to. The things that you did back in 2019 and 2020, it is time to reinvent and make sure that you have new material so you are current. The biggest thing that we have from everybody is that you're not current enough. And so this is what you want to start concentrating on. I have down here special lifetime events 4 to 6 months ahead, talking about the cool things. I'm talking about the surfboard competitions. I'm talking about the snowboarding. I'm talking about anything that's outside the box that is related to anything entertainment, concerts in the park. There's all kinds of things that go on between April and October, because a lot of them are outside, and a lot of them happen in your own hometown. So these are the things that we need to start thinking about. Next we have on here is contact etiquette. Okay, this is number 1 for me. You need to be able to write an email to someone that says who you are and when you want to play. And make sure you have a website and your video as your calling card. It's going to be very important. No texting an email to someone, because I've been getting a lot of it and it's not very professional. So you don't even say a full word, or you're talking into it and it's misspelled or something like that. They will not even contact you if it doesn't look good. You don't want to say too much, but you want to say just enough. If you want a copy of one of those emails, I have a couple set up for you. You can email us at musicbizmentors@gmail.com, and I will send you some sample emails. If you have an email, you can also send it to the Gmail account, and I'll take a look at it for you. Number 9, we're getting in here. And again, remember, these are basics. Go local before regional. Remember, especially if you have not played in a really long time, you should not getting in a van and traveling 300 miles away from your home. Let's stick an hour from your home, and let's try to book something from now to the summer. And this is how you can get your show ready. You can also get your social media, planning your next music releases, and let's try to book all of that stuff together. So before you go in the spring to drive a lot of miles away and not maybe make money and do that kind of stuff, that's not what I believe in anyway. I think it's important that we look at local. Anything an hour from your house, we call it a run out. You can actually run out and do the gig, and you actually can come home, so you don't have to stay overnight. So these are the things that are going to be very, very important. And my number 10 here is patience and persistence. There's a difference between being a pest and being persistent. And so it's important that you know exactly when to push someone for something. Again, most of the presentations you'll do, if you want to play a certain place, you're going to have to email them. Only send what they tell you to send. If they do not tell you to send a song, then don't send a song. If they say to send your social media platforms, then send your most active one. Don't send a Twitter account if you haven't done Twitter in a year. Send something that's active. And if you're not active and you haven't done social media, then just get a Facebook account and start doing some interactions with people, because every single venue has a Facebook account that I know. And so that's how they advertise to the public. So it's going to be very important for you to also do your social media platforms and just show interaction. You don't have to have 10,000 subscribers. You basically just need to show that even if you had a couple hundred and you went and you were interacting with them and you started now, by the time they looked at it to get booked, it would look like you were actually active on social media. And the one last thing I want to talk about, it's patience. So booking and anything that you're going to submit for, it's a numbers game. Remember, it's a numbers game. For every 10 that you put out, expect one person to respond to you. And I know they're not good numbers, but you need to just realize that you have to contact them more than once and maybe even a different way. So that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about being patient. So this is why I wanted you to book way ahead so you can have the time to have people respond to you. And if somebody comes back to you and say, no, that date is booked, then you get to say to them, well, when are your open dates? How far in advance do you book? And that's how you get in the door. So that is these are the most important things that we're talking about here. Again, I am just saying that we should start thinking about these things because I don't want you to wait till January or February and then decide that you want to play in April and all the gigs are booked. And then you'll feel like you're way behind. And so all you need is a little video, right? A little presence online and do some research. And you know what? As we start getting to the holidays, things are going to shut down in the regular music business. So this is the best time to plan for the new year. I hope some of that helped you today.